My name is Ian Deary. I'm Professor of Differential Psychology at the University of Edinburgh, and I'm Director of the Lifelong Health and Wellbeing Centre for Cognitive Ageing and Cognitive Epidemiology. And it fell upon us this year, at the end of 2012, to host the annual showcase meeting of the Lifelong Health and Wellbeing Initiative. It's actually been really nice to see the Lifelong Health and Wellbeing Initiative grow since we began it with our centre some 4 and a bit years ago now. It's grown considerably. Now there are the 3 centres that started it off, but also it's got 3 large collaborations looking at lifelong health and wellbeing research, 7 large grants and 10 pilot studies. So what we did was we all got together on the 4th and 5th of December in Edinburgh. There's over 150 of us working on lifelong health and wellbeing, and I think that says a lot about how the research councils got together and saw that this was a growing area of research interest, and they could attract good researchers to study lifelong health and well-being. With the meeting convening in Edinburgh, when we looked at the submissions, it was clear that they were beginning to fall into different groups of interest. Now these are more or less wide, but the first thing we saw clearly was there's an interest in retaining vitality and fitness with ageing. A second group, something that our own centre particularly concentrates on, but so do others, was on brain, cognition and well-being. And a third group we called clinical and environmental aspects of ageing. So we themed the meeting into those 3 areas over 2 days. We also paid a lot of attention to the training of younger scientists too. So it was an extremely well-attended poster session that ran throughout the meeting, where the PhD students that Lifelong Health and Wellbeing were supporting were presenting their work. Now a lot of the researchers attended to these, and there was a poster prize as well for the best young researchers that presented posters too. So what do we get from that other than having to organise a fairly big meeting in Edinburgh? Well, research works better if there is a coherent community of people studying the various aspects of a topic, and I think that's now what we've got in the country based on lifelong health and well-being. We don't have a National Institute on Ageing that's bringing together people working on different aspects of ageing, but what we now have is a large group of researchers, and I think 150 is a pretty good start, of people working on a whole range of factors to do with ageing. And what it means for those of us working on specific aspects is that we can look for people with different skills, that is different technical skills or different substantive knowledge, to come and help and add on to our own areas of interest as well. So it broadens our outlook, it helps us in collaboration, and it makes us do better research by having this community. The other thing we had to consider was that during the meeting, we obviously had people there for 2 days, so we collaborated with Lifelong Health and Wellbeing in putting together an evening session that was going to spend the time as usefully as possible. And by usefully, I mean practically useful. And what we decided there was to have a session focused on impact. In the end, we managed to get 20 stalls demonstrating the impact of that type of research. And this ranged all the way from fairly qualitative types of research that looked at narrative aspects of ageing, through cognition, mobility, frailty, to immunological aspects of ageing, all focused on translating the research into practical impact as well. And when we looked at it, we again wondered, how many people are going to come along to an evening session with only limited amounts of food and drink available. In fact, we got over 200 people attending it. It was a very bustling session where outsiders, that is people outside of the lifelong health and well-being research, came along. A nice thing too of the evening meeting, and the whole meeting in fact, is it's not just the researchers getting together and telling each other what they're doing. That's good because a lot of people are finding new collaborations by doing that. The research funders also come along as well, and we've noticed that as researchers, the very good attentive attendance by the funders from MRC, from BBSRC, from ESRC and from EPSRC. It's good to see the research funders come along and be so interested in how the research themes are going, and I think that's going to help them continue the programme on into the future, that is running beyond the first several years of lifelong health and wellbeing as an initiative.